Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's May 29th, 2013. I'm Logan Burgess. To my right here is Cody Bills. Cody, let's jump into Fire Tip, see how the grains traded on a Wednesday. As you can see, we had corn backing off $1.50 for July delivery. July soybeans down 7.5. And we had Chicago and Kansas City wheat both moving higher. We had Chicago wheat up 9 cents. Kansas City wheat up 4.25. You know, Cody, kind of a mixed day, it seemed like, in Chicago. We had some fundamental news pushing the markets. We had some technicals. Kind of what was your take on what we saw here?
Well, first of all, soybeans was getting pushed down a little bit harder. A lot of selling coming into the market, especially after cancellations that were reported by FASS here. About 147,000 metric tons of old crop soybeans were canceled here. And what that kind of tells me is that there may not be the kind of demand expected up around these parts. We know that the export sales have been lagging, especially with South America, with the crop that they have. Of course, we had that strike down in Argentina at the ports, and then that was pushing some speculation that maybe more sales will be pushed onto our books. Today, that kind of the opposite happened. We actually got cancellations here. That says, I think, that the ports are opening back up in South America. And I'd be surprised if we push higher here for soybeans. I really think that we've made some big runs into the $15 range for that July contract, and I don't think we're going to be able to get above that.
You know, looking at it technically here, kind of what are you looking at? In light of the fundamental situation that you kind of laid out there, maybe we have some end users going down to South America. You know, technically we've had a really strong run up here. We've pushed. We've really tested some highs here. Certainly 1550 acted as some pretty serious resistance. And over the last couple of days, we've tried to move higher, but really weren't able to. What kind of technically, what are you looking at here?
Well, you know, we had that huge wick back here, and that went all the way up to, basically about 1547, I believe. And then we tried it again, couldn't quite push back up to those previous highs. To me, I think if we close below 15, that's a negative signal, and definitely if we close below the low here of 1471, I definitely think that would be cause for concern. You'd want to put some protection on if those events happened. Let's turn our attention really quickly over here to corn, because I think the landscape here, the technical landscape, is shaping up kind of quite nicely. Notice this blue line. This is the 50-day moving average, and we hugged right into that. We couldn't get above it for quite some time. We were finally able to mount that late last week, and you notice that we've touched that 15 and then rocketed back up to the high side of this range. I think we're going to end up closing this gap, filling the gap that we set back here on the March 28th stocks report. I think that's right around 676. I would definitely expect to see selling pressure at that price level. As you typically see, once those gaps are filled, you'll see some kind of selling pressure. That's usually a resistance level, so just keep a close watch on it. Absolutely.
If you guys want to break down these charts for yourself, you can always visit us over at grainhedge.com and take a no-obligation trial of the platform that you see here on GrainTV. You know, turn our attention here to wheat finally. We did see wheat have a little bit of strength here today. Not a lot of fundamental news, but late in the day we did get a story out from the USDA that genetically modified wheat had been found in Oregon. No varieties of genetically modified wheat are legal for sale in the U.S., and the concern now is that we might see some end-user cancellations on the international market. So that's certainly something to keep an eye on right now, kind of a developing story. We haven't seen that affect the cash markets out west yet, but certainly that's something we'll keep an eye on here. The concern is that, as I said, we would see international cancellations as a result of this here.
All right, Logan, you know, one other thing. I think we have a shortened week this week. What's coming down the pipe in terms of news that we should be paying close attention to that might drive the markets for the close?
You know, typically here we do get EIA ethanol numbers out today. That's going to be pushed back tomorrow. Expect another pretty good ethanol number reported tomorrow. I know last week we saw a marketing year high, and we've seen the ethanol crush margin remain relatively strong here over the last week. So expect another good number there. And then on Friday, we're going to be getting USDA export sales. Certainly could see some strength there. I think soybeans are going to be important to watch. You know, as you kind of mentioned, we have seen a big run up in price. We'll see if that's affected old crop sales. Certainly would expect it to, but we'll keep you posted on that here on GrainTV. You know, in general, that's kind of what we saw in the grain market here. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for the EIA ethanol report.